features that are out for NAB.
There's a lot of cool stuff out for NAB, from the major broadcasters all the way down to the online streamers.
Wow.
We actually have our booth, our big booth here in the Central Hall, but we also are in the Facebook Live Pavilion, and we are sprinkled throughout a variety of other vendor booths because
like
we kind of
ours too.
Yes, because we kind of hit all walks of life. But yeah, it's everything from being able to globally roam, basically get off a plane anywhere in the world now and go live. If people are familiar with LiveU, it essentially is cellular bonding. So you would typically have to localize a unit so that it would work with the local cellular carriers.
Yeah.
But in the wide, wonderful world of technology that we have, and between either leveraging cellular satellite hybrid, and global roaming
You're
sims
smart
now,
lady.
it doesn't matter where you are. And when you add in the advancements in our HEVC technology,
Yes.
that basically means you don't even have to worry about how big the pipe is anymore, basically, no matter where you are.
Oh my gosh.
We're seeing major broadcasters using our stuff at 1 megabits per second for broadcast quality now with HEVC transmission. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we got a killer demo. Come on over, I'll show you.
Yeah,
I
we
have
had
to check that out.
Yeah.
I did see it. I saw it at NAB New York.
Yeah.
Now here we are at the big NAB.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you got new stuff
Yes.
for everyone from the streamers all the way up.
Yeah.
So let's start with the streamers.
Okay,
Because
all
I
right.
think most of our audience is there. Tess is going to be answering questions in the chat.
Yes, I've
let's
got the
start
chat right
with
here.
the streamers. What do you got for us?
So our flagship product for online
Solo.
streaming is LiveU Solo. And we continually are making enhancements to the portal to make it easier to use and add more functionality. And one of the things we're doing a tease preview of in the pavilion are adding live graphics through the Solo portal.
Oh my gosh.
One of the biggest things is everyone wants to do initially is, let me just get online. And then once they're online and they've got a decent quality camera, a decent quality lights and sound, better than the cell phone, now it's what else can I do to enhance my program?
Absolutely.
Is it interactions? Is it multiple cameras? Is it switching from those multiple cameras? Syndication? But the number one thing most people say is they want to be able to put a logo on something.
Yeah.
Or maybe for sports, show a score. So our whole premise and platform is to be open and integrated, so any graphics package you want to use, any switching company you want to use, we work and integrate seamlessly with. But we also wanted to add a feature so that if somebody just wanted to turn on some basic or even more advanced graphics through that same interface, now they can too. So it's a preview. Some of our Facebook Lives that we're doing from the show, you'll see graphics popping up. We did a tour of the pavilion earlier where I was behind the controls and I was doing the live lower thirds. So if I was doing it, I'm pretty sure everyone else out there in the audience can figure it out. Yeah. And then at Streaming Media East in a few weeks, it'll be fully live.
Wonderful.
Oh, thank
cool.
you.
We got a product
Yeah, that
shot.
was the LU600.
That's what we're
there it
using
is.
right now.
We've
Yeah.
been using that every day
So that's
at
doing
NAB.
4 megabits.
Yes.
That's got to be great quality.
It's ridiculous quality.
A
Well,
lot of people are
everyone's
telling us
Oh,
that
that's
the color
great.
and
About the
sound is
quality.
great.
excellent,
Wow.
excellent.
Somebody said that they're thinking about buying the LiveU after seeing its performance with us at NAB, so that's happy to hear.
And that's fantastic news because we've seen all sorts of range of connection speeds, but even with our Solo product, which is just 2 cellular modems, the team was going live from the South Hall at about 4 to 5 megabits per second on average.
I've seen it happen.
I know
on
Live Streaming
average.
Pros is running
Yeah.
around with it too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using that.
It's like I said, it's sprinkled throughout, including Broadcast Beat, which are the official NAB
they're using
broadcasters. They're
LiveU.
using it as well.
Really?
Yeah, so we partnered up with Telestream, so it's a nice workflow of using Wirecast and LiveU together as well.
Great.
And they're cool on getting smart. You know, people get overwhelmed at these shows. Even I had a hard time finding the booth. There's a lot here. But when you can put the behind the scenes on display, I think everybody really enjoys it.
They
And I think
do.
it's super cool that Broadcast Beat put their whole production studio behind clear glass.
I love that.
And you can really see every element, and then people can go and run to the booth and learn more about what they're seeing in use.
Here's the place to do it like that.
Like
too.
on our studio where people are seeing the PTZ cameras in use.
I know, we are so happy to see
and
that.
they can immediately come over now and learn more.
It's also amazing about the
that.
show that there's so many collaborations and
Yeah.
so much opportunity for that.
Well, you'll like it next year that we are in Central Hall in the front.
Oh, there
So
you go.
we will be just like 4
Next door.
booths down from you.
Excellent.
So that will
That's-
be even
that's
better.
good news.
We got a better booth.
It is more fun when everyone's together and
Yeah.
they can sort of collaborate, like you
Back and
said.
forth, yeah.
But I love the whole idea that you guys are doing something live from here, and we put some effort into doing that as well, because there's so many people that can't come to Las Vegas.
Yes.
And like I said, it is very overwhelming, even if you can come to Las Vegas. So it is nice that people at home get to see it, hear it. I think it's super cool that you guys are doing it for
absolutely
the Stream Geeks community.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
they're loving it.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I thought it would be great to start with the Solo, because
Yeah.
I know so many people, after we started showing people how we could go out in a car and broadcast, or start in our studio and then go out into a mobile and then come back to the studio and mixing back and forth.
Yeah.
So it was a great starting point. I know a lot of you guys out there are starting to use the Solo. So what's the next step up from the Solo?
So from there, that's a very simple to use interface, specifically designed for going straight to online. While you can point that to any destination, it was meant to sort of not be for the big broadcast engineer. All of our other products from that point on do go through our other enterprise management platform called LiveU Central. So you actually can move up to the LU200, which is the same form factor as the Solo, but you get a few additional enhancements, which are extra modems. So you actually will have up to 6 connections that you can have bonded together. And that unit is in use by broadcasters far and wide. It's very, very small, like the Solo is, so it can fit into someone's carry-on bag. But it taps into the LiveU workflow that most of the major broadcasters use. And what's cool about that product is we see a lot more different vertical markets starting to stream using that, not just for their own productions, but because with that workflow, they can now distribute that same content over IP with television stations and major broadcasters.
Wow.
So you're even seeing high schools and local communities using our products to be able to share that now in real time with the local television affiliate or the local regional sports network. They wouldn't normally send a journalist to cover it or a camera crew, but now they can actually get and share that content because it's all on the one LiveU platform.
That's such
Wow.
a great
Yeah.
use case.
Yeah.
It's a sales point too as well, because for like these, let's say you're a little school, you never get any coverage of your high school basketball team, yet some of these high school kids, if they were get to that exposure, they could get scholarships, different things.
Yeah.
So it's almost a sales pitch. So I think I might have been kind of dreaming in my mind here. So let me just think about this for a second.
Dreaming.
Well, no, I was just listening to you and I was
Usually that's when
capturing
somebody
some of
asks
it.
something.
So I'm trying to think here.
Yeah.
So you have this product, it's the LU200, the
Yes.
400, the 600, the bigger product.
Yes.
You're streaming remotely.
which one's this one?
Back to
That is an extender that you're looking at right now. And what that basically does
yeah.
will boost the range of your pack.
I see.
Yeah, we saw one of those.
What were you saying?
So what you're saying is that they're streaming up to your LiveU Central, and then from there they can share it?
Yes,
How
because
does that work?
the encoding technology, our LRT, reliable transport, is not just about the bonding, it's about how the video is encoded. So you're able to now transmit that as long as you have a receive server at the end, whether that's a physical server in a location. So the local television station has LiveU gear, they have a server there. So now any other pack anywhere in the world can be received by them if they want to. So what it does for stations is it opens up a whole realm of possibility by using freelancers, LiveU equipped production companies, but on the other side,
LiveU equipped production companies or schools or any
or now
organization.
any other AV group that's doing their own productions. If they have LiveU equipment, that encoded video can be received by any.
I could almost
LiveU
see the
on
need
any
remote
other
production
for a
and-
community of people coming together now to be able to let people know that they have potential
It's
sources.
very interesting you say that because there is a LiveU community.
Yeah, isn't there? Everyone we talking about that? What is it called?
So it's called LiveU Community.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Internationally, we partner with Associated Press, but here in the U.S., not yet. But we have an extensive group, and what we do is the major broadcasters know who's LiveU equipped, and then they can actually post jobs, and our freelancer community can bid on them, and
Wow.
they're connected, and then vice versa. If there's
Very
a
good.
freelancer that's available and they have an opportunity or a pool feed or anything
That's
like
good
that
for us to
share.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been really fantastic because there's a lot of production companies have gotten into doing live for themselves, but they want to get incremental business. They have the equipment, they can continue to use it. And in a breaking news situation, or even what we
Yeah.
experienced a few months ago, not that long ago, with the hurricanes that came through, that was difficult to get people in and out to locations. So if someone was within a 2-hour driving radius and they had a LiveU pack, we were able to simply add that pack to their client's inventory, and now it was basically part of their broadcast network. So it is super cool stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I would imagine from being a small television network, having the LiveU receive server gear, I'd want to know, who can I rely on from time to time to get this data from? And you're one of the only people out there with this LiveU Solo that's an entry-level point product. So now you've just got tons of people out there
entry level, but I'm always careful to remind people of that same LU600 that you guys are using. That exact same technology, the bonding and the encoding technology, is what's inside a Solo unit. So you're using, even in that less than $1,000 product, the same high-end, high-quality bonding and encoding tech that the major broadcasters are using in our higher-end products.
Wow.
So it's not a lesser product. What it is just more of a simpler interface or way of getting your stream online. Yeah.
I'm glad you explained the LiveU community, because I had been hearing about it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm actually looking at Christopher Zanowitz over here. We might bring you on later. He was telling us about this. He's like, is anyone part of this community? It looks like a great place for live streamers to make money and monetize the purchase of a LiveU box. And I didn't fully understand it. Sometimes you see something like that and you're like, what is that? And it was great to hear the explanation, because I could see these local communities.
Well, yeah, so it obviously came out of the broadcast world. So it's definitely built around that. And what we found are the other now content creators or online streamers or production companies have almost created an extended LiveU community beyond what we had done. Just because of that. The first question is, great, I have this product, I can go live anywhere. The next question is there anyone that knows how to use it and that can just do it for me first? And we have a lot of our customers that have gotten incremental business and grown and expanded. So what would have been a wedding videographer, by getting into live streaming some of the weddings, now has a whole new career path in live video production.
It's very similar to Chris, who is a wedding videographer.
There we go.
Looking to live stream.
You know what? Do you want to come on really quick, Chris? Because it ties into the... So Chris actually is a wedding videographer who has the LiveU, who is actually part of the community.
Oh, you have a LiveU?
No, I don't have
Or you were thinking about...
Yes.
That's why I'm actually at NAB. That was my number one reason.
So Chris was the one who was telling me, he's in the Stream Geeks community, and he was saying how, if I was, he was seeing us using the LiveU Solo, and he was saying, if I was able to get a LiveU Solo, look at this community, and I think you were seeing the opportunity, so.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I do wedding videography, and one of the biggest hurdles is internet connectivity.
Yep.
So bonded
Oh, sorry, start over.
Repeat it.
So, with the wedding industry and being in remote locations and inside hotels and all these different areas, there's no way to really do a proper live stream. So with LiveU, it opens up the door for us wedding videographers and small production houses to be able to make that a fruition. I've got people ready. As soon as I own it, they want a demo. So I'm hoping to get into it pretty soon.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It could be you can never rely upon what the bandwidth is going to be at the facility.
Absolutely.
And
not.
you can never
Depend on
rely
them.
upon what they tell you they can do at the facility, which we've learned ourselves even here at the convention center, paying a lot for internet connectivity in the past, and then you get there, but they don't understand video. They say, yes, you have the bandwidth, but it's not video bandwidth. It's not up and down. But now, yes, you can do remote, destination weddings, outdoors, all of that. That's super cool.
Yeah, with the invention of NDI too, it's really simplified the process.
Yeah.
vMix has really been huge for us too, because before I was looking at TriCasters, that's all I've ever used. I've rented them, and it's been an expense. I'm a small production house, trying to get in there.
Piece of equipment you would have to cart with you if you're doing the on-site production.
Right.
One of the other trends, though, too, that we're seeing with the tech is not just producing it all on site then. So if you're doing multiple cameras, all the switching and graphics and everything, now if you have that back at your home studio, being able to use the LiveU to send it back home and not have to bring all that on site makes life even much easier.
Let's talk about that, because that's what you're doing at your booth.
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, so we do have someone manning the sound. You still, it's always important to have a technical director, because you know what it's like. You're getting people on, and maybe someone else, you need a business card if you're doing, graphics. But the majority of the production, the true production, the switching of the cameras, actually controlling the PTZ cameras. We do have control on the booth in case we want to do some adjustments ourselves, but for the most part, we're switching 4 cameras. They're doing the pans, tilt and zoom. They're doing graphics. They're doing and all the broadcasting, which is also syndicating out to multiple destinations, all from Phoenix, Arizona, right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what that saved was a lot of gear being brought on site, so we had a little bit more room on our booth, but also the expense of sending everybody out here.
Yes.
Because I know it's expensive here now in Las Vegas for this show, but you never know what the expense is, and then you have to have someone who's running the graphics board. You have to have another producer. It's those expenses that can really eat into a small business's profit margin when people still don't quite understand why they might want to add live streaming. You know, they may think of it for weddings like, hey, this would be a nice value add, but they're not necessarily ready to pay a lot for it yet.
They're not ready.
Yeah,
They're not ready. So I'm looking at more of like a rental model, like basically, also in a photo booth company. So I understand the rental concept. So rent out the live stream just for ceremony, give them a final copy, you know. Simplify it, get in, get out, you know. But really I want to do the larger productions, like the AP community and all of that I'm really interested in. I know that like, what I understand is the LiveU Solo is not going to connect me to those networks, so I got to step it up a notch.
Yes, yeah.
Which is great because y'all offer a leasing
But
program.
you can, I'll take your card and we're going to have our community guy reach out to you. What we do is we do a very special leasing program, basically. So it's not, so you get LiveU equipped, you don't have to have the server or any of that, but then you become part of the network that then you can use it for your own, but then you can...
Wait, so can you
you
explain that again? Because so you don't actually have to have the receive server?
Yes, because in essence you are the provider, you're the content acquisition, and you're sending to whoever the client is who has that. Which, in the case of, if you happen to get a job with a client that wants it and isn't a LiveU customer, we can do that with a virtual server. So typically, you know, when we rent our products, to send out a physical receive server to a location is a little crazy. Like we've got people renting stuff for FIFA coming up, for the royal wedding.
Wow.
They're picking up a pack and they're either doing it because they're doing it freelance for one of our customers, or because they want to broadcast it for their own online media entertainment group. So we set them up with a virtual server for that week period of the rental that they have. So he now would have the option, if he wants to use it for his own productions, to rent a virtual server for that event, pass that cost along to your customer, which is nominal, or just bid for the job and use his pack to be basically part of that customer's inventory, if you will. It basically becomes part of their...
Oh, this is really interesting.
It's just changing the way it's always been done with the television trucks and the expensive gear, and just putting it all in just a little clip-on belt bag.
I know.
It's wild. Wild.
This is exactly what I was trying to get you guys to... I've been trying to get answers, you know, like in the user group, and everybody's been like, oh, when you find out,
this is really new stuff.
You know?
Like, I didn't realize all of this.
Well, again, because it's very much comes out of the broadcast world, and I don't want to say that's a closed, tight-knit community, but it tends to be. You know, everybody knows everybody else. But what really changed it was the last elections, because it took the U.S. presidential elections usually pull international interest, but this one especially was a little bit more of a media show, let's say. So we had a lot more international customers coming out that couldn't necessarily afford to send a whole crew, so they were sending their journalists. So like Switzerland TV would send their journalist out for the conventions or for the different debates, and there was a high demand for LiveU equipped freelancers, so it actually started to branch out to a lot of the production companies.
That's great.
And that's where a lot of people came on board saying really quickly, like, I need a pack because this company just reached out to me, they're sending a journalist, and we have no way of transmitting back to them.
Well, it's also partially because you have this server appliance that the networks have.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes it specific to your encoders.
And one of the other announcements we've made for those customers is something called LiveU Matrix, which is essentially a layer on top of our LiveU Central, which now allows the news group to curate content for all those affiliates. So if there's something big going on in DC, they can now send instant notifications to the individual affiliates or other O&Os saying we have this feed coming in right now, and they can pick and choose who they're sharing with.
What's the ONO?
An owned and operated station. So an individually owned and operated station. Sorry, I'm guilty. I always try not to use lingo that's not vernacular. I apologize. That maybe wouldn't know that this was going on, or definitely would not have a crew out there. Now that content can be curated and controlled by the home office. And all done via IP and instantly.
I'm just picturing LiveU solo boxes in like red overnight shipments, like get it out there.
There's a lot. There's a lot of that happening.
That's hilarious.
Well,
Question
back
about-
in San Antonio, I work with Philip Nelson from Nelco Media.
Oh yeah, Phil's great.
So next week we've actually got some time. We're going to get together.
Oh great.
We're going to demo some of the products there in house and everything.
Excellent.
So
yeah.
I'd love to keep in contact with you. And
Definitely.
And let you know
Well,
what
I'll
happens
give you
there.
my card.
So,
Phil will take great care of you.
Phil's awesome. I've known him a long time.
Yeah, and he's a huge proponent of staying open and integrating. He comes from new tech. He understands that whole idea that everyone's got to play nice together, and it shouldn't be about the equipment. It should be about enabling someone to make money and do high quality content. Period. Yeah.
And I met with him last night. They had a special party, and that's exactly what we talked about. So he's more than willing to help, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So, and these guys right here have just been amazing.
I want him to get some stuff so we can do a cool story together about what you're doing and a profile of this.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I really look forward to it. So.
This is a perfect meeting.
I know. I was like, because Chris, I remember you were like all about the community, the network, you know, the freelance work and things of that nature. Are we getting any questions in the chat?
There's a question about pricing. How much would data rates cost for using the Solo for about 4 hours? Do we have any approximate?
So it's tough because there are sort of rules that you can gauge. It's about a gigabit per hour, but obviously it depends on what bit rate you're streaming at. And traditionally it's a little bit lower than that. I mean, that's at about maybe 7 megabits per second, I believe. Don't count me on that, but there are some little, you can Google it online, there are some little algorithm things that'll tell you about how much data you need.
All right.
Yeah,
What about the LiveU 200? Is that the one that has y'all's data built
into it? So SIMs are built in. So so that's the split between the Solo and our other products.
Right.
The best part about Solo is you get your own data. You can get your own plan, so you can tack it onto your business plan. You can get different carriers, and you don't have to pay for what you're not using, but then you can see how you ramp up and increase and control that.
Right.
For our other product line, those SIMs, those cellular SIMs are built in, and you actually do get a plan through us.
Right.
So there is usually a natural growth pattern for people who know once they're streaming 25 gigabytes a month, 50 gigabytes a month, it makes it a little bit simpler because now it's all one bill, all one leasing program. It makes life a little bit simpler on that level. But for Solo, we see so many people going everywhere. Like you may say, I'm only doing weddings in Texas, but pretty soon the word's going to get out and you're going to be going to LA and you're going to be doing stuff in other locations, especially if you can do it remotely.
It's going to just take off.
The carriers are different, you know, and it's another good tip. Opensignal.com, no matter where you are, it'll tell you what the cell carrier, what the strength is, who's working better than others at any given time.
No, I've never heard of that. I have to write that down.
So what happens is for me even, I have a couple different carrier USB modems in my pocket. So if I'm in LA, I might use T-Mobile. Believe it or not, if I'm in New York, I pull out Sprint. Not a lot of people are using Sprint, and it's a really good network. So it's nice to have that flexibility to change. With our other products, it's a modem mix, so that you always have basically best cost bonding and best cost carrier.
Well, and with the Solo, you can bring in a Wi-Fi hotspot too. So you
Not
could actually
only
have
that,
3 different carriers.
you can have 4 when mobile. So I just got, I should have brought it with me. I'm so sorry. Should have brought some stuff. A Netgear, it's a cellular router. So it's a hotspot router that has an Ethernet connection. So you just get yourself a little tiny Ethernet plug, and now you can bond a 4 source to it. It's not pretty. I have to put a rubber band around it because it doesn't fit. Our modems fit in this really nice pocket on the Solo, but so this is a little, stick it in a bag, but now you can have 4. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know before LiveU, like people were asking me, like, why are you looking for this? But I was looking for a router that had bonded cellular. But then I found the LiveU Solo, and it made more sense. A lot of live streams, like in the special event, they just need a single camera. You know what I mean? They don't need a full production.
Exactly.
But then you have the capability of doing that and the encoding on the back end.
Right.
I mean, it just makes sense.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I don't mind you coming by my booth and just repeating that about 18,000 times so I can save my voice.
Well, and I know you still have a couple. We still have a day and a half left, so we don't want to destroy your voice on this show. But let me just ask you, what is the most exciting new thing that's coming out that you think is going to change the game?
In general, in the world out there?
For you guys.
For us, I see it's not so much product. It is more the services and capability. And for me, I'm going to answer it a little differently. What's really exciting for me are the different markets that we're engaged with. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it is way beyond broadcasting. CES wanted to change their name from the Consumer Technology Association because it's beyond consumer tech, or
really
consumer
has.
electronics show, whatever. Nothing against NAB, but this is not just about the broadcasters anymore.
Right.
So many people we've seen today, from enterprise that are looking to do more live video, government. I love what's going on in education. Just to see how people are applying technology to do things, to sell more, as a new monetization, profitability, but also just to communicate and share. To me, it's exciting, and it's rapidly exploding. I saw a little bit of change over the last couple of NABs, but now it's like every show I go to, it's a whole new different person or genre of people.
This might be a can of worms, but do you think it was Facebook Live?
So I do, and
I think so too.
I think, what is it, last March, 2 years ago, when they opened up their API, it made everybody sit up and take notice. That said, holy smokes, it's now not just these content delivery networks. It's not just having this as your way of getting stuff out there. It made social media a viable online channel. Television, live video destination. And it transformed the business. And it also allowed a lot of new media tech startups that normally never would have gotten the ability to get off the ground with their cool, hot idea.
Right.
But now, because it's integrated with social media, you can go. There's the Sprocket Startup Pavilion here. And I love all these cloud-based new media techs, because all these little add-ons, whether it's overlays and being able to drive someone to your website to buy the product that you're doing the video about, none of that would have happened if it wasn't all now on social media. And I think that's going to continue to change. We're constantly now saying, what's the next thing that we can add on to help people improve the quality of their stream? Because the more all of us, everybody here, can get better quality video, whether that's enhanced content, live commentary on the stream, all that interaction, the more then the content creator can focus on the great content of that video. I no longer have to worry about all of this stuff. I can actually sit down with Joyce, who's over there, and we can actually talk about what are we going to talk about, what the passion of what we want to bring, as opposed to worrying about the tech and spec.
And to kind of dovetail off that, and we're kind of going over, so I'll leave with this, is that when I started to realize that we could have high quality internet streaming anywhere, it really opened our boundaries, because we were kind of like
stuck in
the
our
studio door. We've got all the
Right.
tech there, let's just stay there, and it's a comfortable place for us to continue to do our content. But that could get stale for a lot of different things, and we for us to start thinking we can go anywhere now, it was like, and it really changed the way we're thinking about doing shows outside, doing different things, and really changing. I think just everyone in general might go through that mind-blowing process where they're like, I'm not tethered to my router and my Ethernet in my office.
Well, and to help close that thought, when we first came out with the solo product, there were a lot of people that said, well, I'm really not streaming that much yet. I'm not really sure I want to do it. And 9 times out of 10, the second they got it in-house, opened it up and started using it, they go, oh, now I can do this, now I can do this, now I can do this, and all of a sudden, it does. The possibilities open up. Yeah.
It's going to be my next purchase. I mean, the LiveU Solo #1, I'm going to get it just to get going. And then from there, I'm going to get set up to get into that AP community and start doing some of that new stuff.
Well, that's great.
So.
Make sure, Joyce over there, we'll connect up as soon as we get off here.
Okay.
And we'll also connect you with a few folks that have done exactly what you've done, who would love to share their tips and tricks with you.
That sounds awesome. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Thank you for
one
this.
last question from James, who is part of a small local government that live streams their county board meetings. The Solo has a WAN Ethernet port for terrestrial internet access as well.
Yes. So that is what it's made for. So that if you're not mobile, you can still plug into a hardline Ethernet connection and bond that with the cellular. So if you're not doing anything, yes, you can do RTMP only. But take advantage of the fact that you can bond the multiple connections even if you are not mobile. And we have a couple great case studies about what LAPD is doing, the LA Fire, a lot of government community outreach and network. That's another great use case about live video, being able to talk back to the community in real time with live streaming. So I'll make sure I DM me. No, that's Twitter. What's private message.
Can you give your email out?
Oh yeah, it's easy. It's Claudia@liveu.tv. So it's CLAUDIA@liveu.tv.
Easy enough. Thank you so much for joining
Send her an
us.
email. She's an amazing woman and very bright.
Not for the next 2 days. Give me a couple days to get home first.
I know my email.
Well, it's great to see an intelligent woman in the industry too.
That's very nice.
I wish there were more of you. There are a ton of you, but not as many.
They are, but you know what? We're busy doing the work behind the scenes. We're working all the time. That's why
He's like, I wish there were more women like you in the industry. Thanks,
well,
Mom.
we've had the conversation that we want more women in the industry.
Yeah.
But there are many. But you're one of the exemplary.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's our show, everybody.
We'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, guys. Thanks for joining us.
It's our last show.
Very much so.
I thought I could pop in on this one.
No.